A lot of times you battle in the mirror, where you'll say something positive about yourself and yourself will tell you, no, that's not actually what we think. And it can
Hmm.
be, um, you know, eye opening, almost visceral. I talk about it a lot of times because, when you face yourself about what you think you're telling yourself, and I used to think I had great self-esteem. If anyone knew me, knows that, would assume I have really great self-esteem and love myself and this and that. But when it was time for me to tell myself in the mirror, myself said, "Yeah, no, 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 no. That's really not true." And that was a real fight for a while. Um, and to be honest, it led to a bit of a depression because you find out that you don't know yourself as much as you think you do, in those moments. But those are moments of the greatest clarity. So we have to take those times, and give ourselves some grace. And I think, you know, watering the seed of greatness is the hardest. It's the most difficult, um, because it's the one that's gonna take the longest, to grow, and to for you to tell yourself and not give up hope on the thing that you said, the idea you had, the business you wanted to start, the thing you wanted to do. Um, to let season after season go by, day after day go by, while everything else is sprouting up in your garden, that you're working on, but you're not seeing that turn in your life. I think, um, that's the hardest one to come by, and it will give you that resilience by saying no. It, what I'm seeing my reality is not my reality because I've already said what my reality is going to be, and it just a matter of time before it gets there, and
Hmm.
holding fast to that, through the imposter syndrome, through all the negative thoughts that are going to come up. Those weeds are going to come up to try to choke that dream out, but you've got to be that steady, patient gardener, that steady hand, and self-talk. That's that water that you're putting on there. That's that fertilizer. That's
Yeah.
that. I'm just going to be obstinate, and I'm out here, um, in the garden at 6 in the morning, pulling it
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
right? Pulling those weeds. This is our ancestral lineage right here. You know,
Hmm.
you, being out, before the sun comes up, in the garden was how we fed ourselves. So we have to get back to that in our own minds. Like that's why all the literature says get up in the dark, before everyone else is up, even before the sun is up, because that's when all gardening is done. You
Hmm.
know, is in those early, early, early hours, and we have to incorporate that into our lives, and become that gardener of yourself and of your mind, early in the morning, late in the evening, um, late at night.
Yeah.
Because that's when the magic is happening, and you have to
Yeah.
be there working in those magic hours, not in traffic. That's not the best time to start doing
Yeah.
self-talk and
Yeah.
affirmations.
Yeah.
Not
Absolutely.
everybody's going to
Absolutely.
have the forethought of Chris to say, "Oh, I'm going to do something different." Um, that's because he's done the night work already, so that when it's time to be on the scene, he can do the right actions. I wouldn't say to start working on your self talk while you're in a stressful situation in afternoon rush hour Hawaii traffic. That's not going to be for the best.
Yeah. Let's talk about the affirmation. You brought that up and you mentioned that several times. And one of the things that I think, and everybody can relate to this, that knows their history, and whether you're a sports fan or not, he was such a dynamic personality. That's Muhammad Ali. You talk about, I am the greatest, right? I mean, that was what he was known for. I am the greatest. That is probably one of the most powerful affirmations that's out there and has been used. And I think the point I want to bring to that though is some people felt like he's being brash, he's been braggadocious, and those things because he was so verbal about it, right? But the point of it is that's the exact type of self talk you want to have with yourself, whether you put it out into the universe the way he did, and stand on the stage, I am the greatest, or you just stand in the mirror and it's just one on one every day, every morning, every night. I am the greatest, right? So it doesn't need to be this grand presentation on a stage. It really can be that mental work just between you and yourself. The key is to do it and to be consistent at it. So that's one of the things I definitely want to share with our audience is just know that it's ongoing and it's something that's completely in your control. And you can have those one-on-one moments, as Sean was talking about, in
Mhm.
the darkness, right? And that's when what that work you do in the darkness will really show up. in the light, right?
Because he
Because
wasn't the greatest yet, right?
yeah,
He wasn't the greatest yet,
yes,
except for himself. That I mean that's it.
yeah,
You know, I made a post on social media this week that um, your commitment to self care should be evident. You know, it shouldn't be. I guess he likes himself, or no. It should be upfront. It should be evident. It should be known, almost to the point where people are like, "Oh, he's kind of selfish. He likes to take care of himself." Yes, it should be to that degree. That's when you know that if no one's remarking about it, you're not quite there yet. Is what I would say, because you have to be it's almost should be an arrogance that um, you have to, because it's a counterculture. It's a counterculture. You are. It's okay to be self-deprecating. That's just fine. You're much easier to be self-deprecating than to be, or more acceptable to be self-deprecating than self-praising, right? And that's we got our we're off a tilt, right? We should be at the point where you can be a Muhammad Ali, and guess what? Everyone that believes in themselves that much, they always succeed. Um, Always. I read a book of it was like 150 characters, and that was the whole preface was about this is 150 people that are great in what they did across all industries, but they all had that same mantra, that same motto, and it all came out very brash and braggadocious. It might not be in a ring, but in their own arenas were looked at the exact same way.